Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. Today, well, first let me remind you guys, I'm on Patreon now. We have a lot of freebies going on. Um, yes, you get, for subscribing, becoming a patron on my Patreon page, you will automatically get 30% off in my shop, Gypsy Witch Creations, of an item of your choice. And then we have all kinds of prizes. We're going to have a drawing every 2 months to win a free prize, a free product from Gypsy Witch Creations. We're going to have a monthly drawing for a psychic reading from me and whoever comes through for you in the spirit realm, your loved one, friend, whatever. Friends are loved ones too. Yeah, most of the time. But we have just all kinds of stuff. I have a whole list of things on there. Go take a look at Patreon. Look up Gypsy Witch Productions. I have the link below in the comments. I have a link to every place you can find me. Patreon, though, is special. We're going to have, I think I said, a weekly question and answer. So go check us out there, me and my spirit team. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff, different than the YouTube channel. Now, my YouTube stuff is going to be on there also, but you get additional benefits by becoming a patron on Patreon, Gypsy Witch Productions. So go check out there. Please join me. I'm really anxious to get this started. It's going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, today we are going to talk about freedom of choice. Now, it used to be for years and years, I think from the time I was a little girl. When was Roe versus Wade? 72? Somewhere around then. I was a kid. Yeah, I was born in 1964, so I was a kid. Now freedom of choice has gone beyond abortion. Right. Now, my viewpoints on abortion don't matter, because it's freedom of choice. So I'm not even going to tell you how I feel on that. It's about time we become united in the best way. Go ahead with that, girl. The best. Yes, it is great-grandma. Hi, great-grandma. I love my great-grandma. I think I take after her. Right? Anyways, the best way to be united is not to agree, but to accept our differences, especially on opinions. It's okay not to have the same opinion. It's okay to make your own decisions. When we can accept that in each other, I don't agree with you on COVID, and you don't agree with me. So what? It should be your own choice. And if that damn vaccine is effective and works, what are you worried about? Right. We just need to agree to disagree and still love and respect each other. That's how they're gaining control of us. Because, well, they put it in our heads. Get the vaccine. But it's not going to be effective if not everybody's vaccinated. That doesn't make sense to my great-granddaughter. It doesn't. Right. But you're right. People need to accept we're not all going to agree on the same subjects. Right. And so what? If I don't push my agenda on you, and you don't push your agenda on me, we'll all get along fine. Right. Now, it is harder with an individual family or a church organization. No, not really, okay? I was asking my great-grandmother if we were going to go there. No. Yeah, you guys were really involved in the church. Right. Right. So that's the whole point here. Freedom of choice. Does it matter if Michelle is pro-vaccine or not? No, it doesn't. That's not the point. Right, Michelle? The point is, okay, right, the point is, and I think we're all in agreement in this, right, you should have the ability to make your own choice. And let's face it, people, we all actually do have the ability to make our own choice. We have just given up our power to the powers that be. We have freely given it up to them. We have given it to them. Don't do that. Okay, this vaccine is available. Get it if you want. Right, it's just like the flu shot. I never get a flu shot. Others do. Do we argue over that? No. If you get a flu shot and it's effective for you, great. The flu shot works. Does a vaccine work or not? And why do they keep adding them? Why do we do... Yeah, it could be that they had to develop it too quick. I don't know. But if you're vaccinated wearing a mask, don't worry about me. My point is no one can control anybody else. And we never should. And that includes the powers that be here. And they are the biggest culprits. And then you have those who buy into their propaganda, who help them try to control others. We need to stop that shit. Yeah, so I have my spirit team here. Now, I live in the state of Arizona. That's my state of residence, even though I'm a nomad. And that's another thing. You're a nomad, you travel all over the place. You still need to have a state of residence. You have to have an address and shit like that. So why? They can keep track of you. Yes, back in the day when you had nomads, you didn't have an address. Right. Anyways, I was drawn to Arizona, well, for a very long time, and I finally went there for the first time in 2017. I fell in love with it, and I told my youngest son, who I was with at the time, excuse that cat back there, pay no attention to her, she's just wild today. Anyways, right, she's throwing my pillow on the floor. Anyways, I live in Arizona, and I'm glad I chose that state. Because the current governor, and God, I hope he stays in, believes in freedom of choice. So it should be up to the individual. Right, Mom, and go where you were thinking. Yeah, that was John. Right. What you were just thinking. Right. First of all, he took a lot of flack last year when all of this COVID stuff first started, with the masks and the quarantines and stuff. He believed it was up to the individual on what to do. And I enjoyed that. I liked that. Now, for the most part, I was and still am an anti-masker. However, if I went into an establishment that required a mask, I wore one out of respect for them. Because the owner of that establishment also has rights. So they can make that rule for their business because they have freedom of choice. Now, if I was totally on the extreme side, I wouldn't go into that business then. I would find another one. In Arizona, that was possible. It still is possible. I think. I haven't been home in a few months. I'd like to get back home. Right. But that's how I handled it. Now, if you live in fear, especially with this COVID thing, don't go to Arizona. I had an instance last winter where I was in a store and the guy started freaking out because he thought I was standing too close and I wasn't wearing a mask and he was. I don't understand that. Right, this is confusing to most people like me. If you're wearing a mask, what are you worried about? If you're vaccinated, what are you worried about? Does the vaccine not work? That's what I'd like to know. Because this implies to me the vaccine doesn't work. So anyways, I'm going to let the spirit realm chime in. Right, because down here I have limited vision unless I ask them. Right. That's what happens when you're incarnated. You have those blinders on. It's kind of yes. Okay, let me get in the zone. Okay, Mother, so what you were just stating was, yes, a matter of opinion. That's your opinion. Right. Exactly, I agree with you, John. Right. Now, you're very aware others have the opposite opinion. Exactly. And they're entitled to it, honey. Right, Mother. And you feel very strongly about that. Yes. Right. Go ahead and say that. Okay. So this is Michelle. Despite the unity thing that is prevalent with my tribe, my community, we are still individuals. And we do, especially when incarnated, not so much especially. We talked about that too. Upstairs in the spirit realm. Yes, there is unity. It does not mean what most people think here. You still keep your autonomy. Thank you for letting me say it properly. I can't say it right, only he can. Right? Well, with the two of us, I can't say it properly. That's on me. Right. Who's having me talk with a Midwestern accent? Right? Anyways, now you feel it's a matter of opinion. Right. And why is that? First of all, the powers that be will always lie to us. Even if you're on their, well, I think especially if you're on their side, they're going to lie to you even more. Well, they lie to all of us. I mean, it's a group effort. Divide and conquer is their goal. And believe me, this subject, COVID, masks, no mask, vaccine, no, boy, did that work with dividing. Am I correct? You're right, Mom. Oh, I'm sorry. I got out of the zone. Hold on. Okay. Dad, sorry. You're right. You're right about that, Michelle. And we used to talk about that when you were a girl, and I was still here. That is true. My dad was very perceptive. He could read the signs. That's true. Now, what I saw back then was our freedoms being taken away. And yes, I'm going to talk about, well, smoking. That was a big thing in my time. Our whole family, big smokers. Very few of us smoke now, right? Me and my sister. Right? Yes. I'm going to go over my sister's house so I feel comfortable. Right? Sorry, Dad. Go ahead. Right. You're right. Now, the point being that smoking is bad for you. Exactly. And although I died of lung cancer, I knew beforehand it was bad for us. When my generation started smoking, and even my daughters, right, last year the baby boomers, we were not given all the facts. But then, when they got all the facts, they started taking away the freedom of choice. Right now. Especially back in places like Ohio, PA. Whoops. You go in to a bar, smoking was a thing. The only way bars survived was because so many people got on board with anti-smoking. Right. But the point is not whether it's bad for you or not. Just like with the vaccine, whether or not it works. Our rights and freedoms are constantly being taken away. And yes, that's another subject. I don't think I want to get into that one. Right. This is more about COVID. But that is what I was seeing. More and more rights being taken away. And then they got on, well, yes, the health food kick. And places like New York, or probably, yeah, even California, started making mandates about what you can and cannot eat or drink. Now that's taking away freedom of choice. In our day, my generation and before, it was comfort food. And right, you mentioned working on farms and stuff like that. You needed that bulk, that energy from that type of food. But the healthy food gives you energy too. Maybe more appropriately so. Now, right, Michelle likes both. Yeah, I go back and forth because I enjoy both. Right, and you were raised on the comfort food. Right, you got that right. Something is pushing me off center, yeah. And that's what I was seeing, our rights being taken away. Now, had I been alive, well, for even that event, 9/11 we're talking about, it was true, but it was used as a red flag to take more of our rights away. Exactly. Your dad wants you to say that. Okay, here's my thing. I felt that way at the time, after 9/11 happened, slowly having our rights taken away. But when it takes 20 years to put a mandate in effect, like for driver's license, changing that, 20 years, I have to question, how urgent was it? And if it's a real thing, and it isn't. Right. It was just another way to control us and track us. Exactly, Mother. I cannot fly in my own country because, well, I have a bizarre address being a nomad. I can't get on a plane. Now I'm not vaccinated. Yeah, that is the thing. So, yeah, I can't get on a plane now. So, that's what we're talking about, freedom of choice. Now, you adore your governor, Governor Ducey, because he has always been into freedom of choice. Now, upstairs in the spirit realm, we are all about, freedoms and making your own decisions. This is why we never interfere in a human person's life. Someone who's currently incarnated, right? We might try to transmit advice. We don't control anything. It always has been and always will be freedom of choice. Free will, we know in the Christian religions, is a thing to a certain point. But when our Creator instituted that, it was across the board. So in other words, upstairs we don't have these rules. Our freedom of choice when we're incarnated on planet Earth is forever being tested. Right now, it's big time. Right. Governor Ducey is awake enough to know you cannot take away, or you should not take away, you can't really, right, take away people's right to choose. Right. And even with Roe versus Wade being redacted, just like before that, right, women are still going to sneak and have it. Right, the same with drug laws, everything. Now, with this subject, Governor Ducey is trying to keep everybody's options open. You want to wear a mask? Do it. You don't want to wear a mask? Go with that. You want to have the vaccine? You don't want to have the vaccine? It should be your choice. Right. Now this is what bothers Missy Dish. This is her aunt speaking. She regrets having her sons overly vaccinated. Right. It should have been her choice as a parent whether to do that or not. But it was not. Because the law is you have to send your child to school. Again, that used to be a choice in the past, which was taken away from parents, my niece is saying, right? Sorry, Aunt Charlotte. Right. However, our choices throughout my lifetime here, right, and I've only been gone 10 years, are slowly and carefully being taken away to the point we're not really noticing it. That's a good point, Michelle. Missy Dish. They have arranged it so we don't notice because we have fallen into that trap that they know better and they should be able to control our lives. And when you talk to your great-grandmother, and you did have a video with her, she said in her day she never even would have fathomed that they would make a law that you had to send your children to school. Now with the vaccines, which is the point I was getting to, for children, it's a law, you have to send your child to school. But you can't send them to school, unless they have vaccines. So it's catch-22. For you, you say a vicious circle. So all your choices are taken away. Directly and inadvertently. We have become so accustomed to this over the centuries, more so over the past 2-3 generations, we don't even notice it anymore, and we're falling into their traps. That is what this COVID is. Go ahead, say it. Nothing, thank you for your permission. Honey bun. Well, it needs to be said. Sorry. This COVID thing is nothing, divide and conquer, like my niece and others say. And that is what they have accomplished through many events in history. Especially our histories, recent past. But COVID was made to be decisive. Like you said, if racism doesn't work, yeah. Even though there is racism, too many of us are friends cross-culturally, right? Right. We'll use this. They come up with a disease. And did they come up with it? I would like to say inadvertently. But is it true? Yes. It is true. They created this disease to create an uproar among, well, the entire society of Earth. And then when that started to subside, and this is the goddamn truth, yes, dear. And Charlotte's, oh, I thought, yeah. This is the goddamn truth. They decided to bring in another variant and up the ante with vaccines instead of just masks. You complained, well, last season in Quartzsite. Right, wherever you'd go, you could not see people's beautiful faces, their beautiful smiles. You looked at someone you did not know if they were trying, right, to say hello with a look, a smile, right? It's sad. It is very sad. Now, many of you are going to say death is a worse scenario. I'm going to let my niece take that away. I have tried to tell you guys. First of all, death is something none of us can avoid. We never will be able to. Second of all, we talked about pre-life planning. You have a certain time frame. Or even, I don't know, maybe some people have an exact date. Is that true? Some people actually do. Like my sister. Right. Good Friday, she died on that. We can all tell that one was planned. Right. But you have that time frame or that date. Something is going to get you home in that time frame. So all the vaccines in the world, all the death prevention in the world is not going to do it. For someone like me who has access to this information, this kind of stuff is hard, what's going on right now. Because I know this. And it does give me freedom because I realize, well, if I chose this time to go, and I get sick with COVID and go, I'm not infecting anybody, well, who basically didn't sign up for it in their pre-life plan. Now, I know those of you who are not into this type of spirituality, or not spiritual, don't connect with the spirit realm, won't appreciate this. And that's okay, that's your opinion. You can keep it, I can have mine. But mine does give me freedom, which is the point of spirituality. I know this, so if it's my time to go, I'm either going to get in a car accident, contract another disease, or I could get COVID. Well, one way or another, I'm going. There are other diseases that kill besides COVID. Right. And that's the point I was getting to, Michelle, is you are very aware of this stuff. So, for you, it is a freeing experience. You can stand your ground with confidence. Right. Now, there are vaccines that have helped previous diseases. That's true, Dan. Right. But like we talked, something else will always come in. Right. Disease and destruction's never, ever really going to go away. You can help ease the pain and even the sorrow. Right. Now, the sorrow part with grief, people like my daughter help with. Right. But there's always going to be something that's going to kill your loved one. Right. Now, you're wondering, you've heard, right, I'm hearing for everything on this subject, way like this. Right. Now, the death rate, you heard was high. You heard somebody else say it was 99% survival rate. You don't know which one is true. No, and I don't think I really care. Right. My point is, it really doesn't matter in the long run, because if it's your time and it's your chosen time to go, it is. Now, right, when you're incarnated, you don't remember your chosen time, and a lot of time, well, for people like myself and Aunt Charlotte, we thought we didn't want to leave yet. I find that hard with Aunt Charlotte being ill for so long. Right, but that was true. I didn't really want to go. When my time came, though, I booted you guys all out of the room. Inadvertently, she did that. My niece wanted to stay with me. I had my sister, her mother, talk her into going home. An hour later, I died. I waited for my family to leave. That's how well we plan these things. Now, consciously, right, you're going to think you don't want to go. When the time comes, you'll be ready. And it does not matter what disease it is or how you go out. It's going to happen anyways. You said at the beginning of this, Missy Tish, if I get it, I get it. And you often quote what people believe Esther said in the Bible, if I perish, I perish. Esther had the same attitude. If it's my time, it's my time. Right. And it's how you feel. What you don't like is freedom of choice being taken away. Right. And why don't we go there? Right. I decided, several years ago, I painted a painting of a butterfly. And I called it Beautiful Freedom. Now, at the time, I've always been very focused on freedom and independence in this lifetime. It's been a very strong thing for me. I painted this butterfly, and I call it beautiful. I named it Beautiful Freedom. This was what, 2016, 2017? Right. I had no idea this was going to happen. Nobody told me yet. Right. So, yesterday, and then, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I also did just a very simple painted feather. Because to me, birds and feathers represent freedom and personal growth. Right. And that's another thing. When your freedoms and choices are being taken away, your personal growth, your spiritual growth is stunted. But that's your choice, too, to have it stunted. Anyways, I decided yesterday to create a line on my shop. I have shirts, magnets, various kinds of cups and hats, promoting living free. And the name of that collection is Live Free, and it's the first on the list. You don't even have to go into catalog. I have all kinds of things that promote that freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is no longer limited to a woman's right for her own body. Even men now, the rights to their own body are being taken away too, via Co-Vid. And if this is your thing, please go to my shop and take a look at this merchandise. I would like to do that, but I don't want to say anything until I find something. Right. But anyways, I think the giveaways on my Patreon page are going to have a lot to do with Live Free, my Live Free collection. So please go there. I'm going to show you some pictures right now, right here, and talk about that. But please go have a look at that, right. Hi everyone, this is Gypsy from Gypsy Witch Creations, and I'd like to introduce to you my new collection called Live Free. It is promoting our freedoms and our rights, especially our freedom of choice. I have shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, various cups, water bottles, magnets, all sorts of things with 2 different designs. So please go ahead to Gypsy Witch Creations, and you will see at the top of the menu, Live Free. Click on that, and you'll see all the items promoting your freedoms. Have a look at that, right. But I'm so focused on freedom of choice that I just have to talk about it. And I don't hate people who choose to get the vaccine. I don't hate people who choose to wear a mask. It's your choice, and you're entitled to it. You're entitled to your opinions. People who don't agree with me, I don't hate. I just ask you to be polite about it. And if you can't tell me you don't agree with me politely, then you're immature, and don't leave a comment. Because if you're mean, it will be deleted. If you disagree with me politely, I leave it there. I'll leave it there, no problem. Right, so I don't hate anybody. Somebody who does not agree with me does not mean I hate them. And if you have loved ones who don't agree with you, is it really worth your relationship with them? That's why, right, in our family, we never talked about politics and religion. It does. It puts a wedge, in loving relationships. And it's, right, it's not worth it. And this is, well, what both organizational entities wanted at the time. Politically, they still do, yes. To put a wedge between people, society in general. Right. Oh, I definitely agree with that, Aunt Charlotte, right. And so our family chose not to discuss these things for the most part. Every once in a while it would come up, and it always did not go well. But our family refuses to let that get between us. Exactly. I have not even asked my family members where they stand. And my brother's an infectious disease nurse. I just won't ask. It's not worth our relationship. Right. So no, I don't hate anybody who is on the opposite side of what I believe. I'm sorry, Aunt Charlotte. Oh, that's okay, Missy Tish. Just your channel, right? So that's how our family has always been. But you haven't been home recently, so you don't know where people really stand, right? And you don't ask. You call home to see how mom's doing and stuff like that. Right. Oops, there we go again. Froze. Right. So that is what is, right, it's still in Charlotte, basically going on. Right, your audience doesn't know, so yeah. Basically going on. The powers that be, like our Johnny likes to call it, have created this division. I'm going to say advertently and inadvertently, whether or not, and we're not going to address that topic. Yeah, there's a lot of things they won't give me the information on. Right. They used it as what you call a red flag, just like 9/11. It happened. There's no denying it, right? Same with COVID. It's going on. There's no denying it. They're using it to put more institutional controls on human beings. You feel, yeah, let's remind everybody what Christine said. Now, Christine is not saying this is what is happening, but she put this food for thought in my head, and I'm not saying it's what's happening, but it is coming. If we don't stop it, it's coming. Christine said, how do we know these vaccines don't already have the chip in it? Right, Michelle. And we don't. Christine doesn't know. I don't know. But it is worth considering. Now, we know upstairs. Are you going to give us this information? I'm going to say now is not a good time. And I would like to make a point. If you are living in fear, do not take it out on my governor or me or people like us. Don't come to Arizona, please. I'm just asking. Yeah, go to New Mexico or something. It's a beautiful area. I know it's a beautiful state until things die down or you're not living in fear anymore. Because a lot of us there don't wear masks. Right. We're residents. Right. Right. I'm just saying, if you're living in fear, maybe you should be careful about where you go. Okay? And I'm not I wish you wouldn't live in fear because it's not a pleasant way to live. And I wish better for everybody. But remember, we should always have that choice. And whether we agree or not, we should respect and love each other enough to allow each other our opinions and our choices. Okay? Anybody else, guys? No, Mother. I thought I was going to do most of the talking, but we all do, even upstairs, feel very strongly about this subject. We don't like the division we see it causing down here. Yeah, and this is global, man. Right. Mother doesn't say universal anymore when we're just talking about planet Earth. Right. Is this affecting the rest of the universe? In a way, but not so much. If it would cause a nuclear war, then it does. Yeah, that does. Go all the way. Yeah. Get rid of that. We did. Good. Did somebody from another planet get a hold of one of the bigwigs and say, knock that shit off, or you're going to have repercussions? Kind of. That was a good pickup. Well, when planet Earth gets rid of a destructive weapon, you know somebody had to intervene. I'm sorry. It is one of the more violent planets in the universe. We love our weapons here. I don't usually incarnate here. I don't like weapons, but yes. Oh, that's another thing, yeah. Anyways, so that's where we are here. Freedom of choice on everything. But right now the topic is COVID. You want the vaccine, get it. I won't hate you. Don't hate me for not getting it. You need to stay away from me, that's fine, I get that. But we need to allow each other our freedoms. That's more of what this is about. Not the vaccine. Not COVID itself, the statistics, or anything else. It is not about that at all. It's about our freedoms, and we all need to unite to fight for our freedoms, whether we agree on a subject or not. Right? Fly in here. That's what happens when you camp all the time. Right. So let's leave it with that. Great. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.